on our work. And our work, you know, in the time that we had was to get at least an approximation of the truth, right? Mm-hmm. There are many layers. As journalists, we just work down those layers of the onion. But that was our sole focus. Not to get theatrics, but to try to get a reasonable idea of the phenomenon, where people would become incarcerated. They would look for alliances and surrogate families, but they'd also be subject to exploitation and this form of torture known as prison rape.
Tell me, is it facts or opinions? You be the judge.
You'll have to decide. You'll have to decide. You'll have to decide.
Yo, welcome to another Facts or Opinions, where everybody's got a fact, everybody's got an opinion ready to give it out. Man, we got one here, man. Shout out to Hustler Spirit, Big Lee, you know, from Hustler Spirit. Y'all go check him out, 502. You go check him out. He just dropped the interview yesterday, man, which is the bomb, where he has Jonathan Schwartz, the man that actually produced the video of the documentary Turned Out. Now, in this interview, it's crazy. Some of the stuff he was saying, he said he was surprised the way Mark was speaking. He said Mark was very intellectual. He said he walked around. It was a process that they looked at. And some of this stuff he said was pretty crazy. He basically saying what Mark is saying in the video is factual. He said whether he could have embellished or not, who's to say? He said, but being around him showed him, especially being there in Alabama during that time when how the Ku Klux Klan and stuff was there, it amazed him. And like he said, he was a well-credited journalist. He's done a lot of stuff. So I want y'all to tell me what y'all think about this right here. Check this out.
Did the inmates know the premise of the documentary? Was it any surprises?
They knew. The inmates that we spoke to, often on camera, knew exactly what we were doing, for exactly what audience, what our backgrounds were, and what our goals were. We were consistent with our message and our representation with both the prison authorities and the prison inmates. And there were a few that were bold enough, both victims of prison rape and the rapists and the daddies, that were courageous enough and thoughtful enough and educated enough to choose to talk to us. And Mr. Lamore was one of them.
So he knew exactly, he knew exactly the mission in his documentary. He knew it was to exploit exactly what he was doing.
He knew and signed a release form. And the release form and the paperwork reflected what the mission of the documentary was accurately. He entered into it willingly. And we spent a lot of time with him. We got to know him. We spent time with his daily routine. We got to like him. We had a level of friendship and trust. And he was very articulate, very interesting, very charismatic. Had this dichotomy of being someone who was careful and protective and intelligent and kind, and then had this other side. Now, the accuracy of his tales, to the extent that he dramatized things for dramatic effect, to the extent that he was accurate in his depictions, that's where there's always some schism, right? So people can get on camera and then get carried away and they can embellish.
Okay.
From our conversations with his victims and from our conversations with the pattern of sexuality, sexual exploitation, and rape in the lockups, that particular lockup and the lockups in that state, I ascertained that what he said was relatively accurate and true to form. Certainly tracking, whether he exaggerated, had a bit of a hyperbole. I guess we'll never know. But he was not paid to follow a script. He was never given a script. My interviews, my questions were direct. They were not leading. I was surprised by what he told me. I asked follow-up questions. I am a qualified and good investigator. I was educated on the topic. I had spent months researching it. We had received grants in order that we had time to do our research.
So what do y'all think about that? That's crazy. So he's saying true and accurate to form, right? He said that it was the consent that was explained out, everything to exactly what they were talking about. And not only that, they got grants. They followed him around. And he also brought up the fact that there were victims. And Mark knew what the whole topic was about. It wasn't about any scared straight program. It was about exposing I guess I want to say those people that they call predatorial that was going on in the Alabama jail systems, and they were exposing what really went on and transpired in there. So y'all tell me what y'all think about this, man. Jonathan SCHWARTZ and the interview, y'all go check it out. And I'm gonna send. It might be another one coming because there's a lot of questions we need answered. Because again, now does it go back to what HIPPS was saying? Was HIPPS telling the truth? Was HIPPS saying that there were victims and that's what it was about? And he was trying to be an advocate for it. They also talked about the daddies. He talked about a lot of stuff. And he said that the warden that was there, the reason why they were able to get the documentary because the warden was retiring, and that basically had a little bit of more leniency on them and let them be free to do what they wanted to. So then therefore guards again wasn't walking around. And did the warden even care? Maybe he wanted to expose it as well. Who knows? But y'all tell me what y'all think, because I'm blown away by this.
Tell me, is it fact or opinion? You be the judge.
You'll have to decide. You'll have to decide. You'll have to decide.